So by 1929, we started to produce. And by 1936, we were able to repay back all the debts that we had borrowed. We actually borrowed literally from the Sri settlement government to cover all our expenses. And by 1936, we were able to pay everything back. And we have never looked back since, since then. So basically, when the Japanese came, they were coming to look after the oil. But even then, oil, the easy oil, was not there. By the 1950s, the government was already talking about diversification of the economy. 1950s, because they knew the oil was not going to last. We were lucky. The oil around Syria dwindled, but we found some oil on the offshore. And then when that dwindled, we found some gas. And by 1974, we were the largest producer of gas in the whole world. And now I think, I remember when I was in the Prime Minister's office in the year 2000, we knew how much oil how much oil we have left, and we know where the graph was. But again, we have been lucky. We've been able to extend, what should have been a decline to sort of flatten out new technology, and probably now that we have talked to Malaysia, we have agreed on the maritime border, probably we'll find oil in the offshore, probably we'll find our lives, But this is not what I want. This is not what we all want. We don't want our survival to depend on things like this. Too much dependent on accidental, I would say this is accidental, Probably in some sense, I mentioned it during dinner, probably divine intervention probably is one that we should not disqualify. Because I think when you think about it, from the whole island of Borneo, which is fairly big, and we were lucky we shrunk to the bit which had the most oil. We could have shrunk to Pontianak, and I don't know what it will be, but we are lucky. Anyway, now where are we? We've got a lot of things to be proud about. The Human Development Index, I think we're about number 30 now, currently in the United Nations. And that is first in the Islamic world, second in Asia, second in ASEAN, and fourth in Asia. In macroeconomic stability, this is a report by the World Economic Forum, we are considered as the safest and the stablest country in the whole world. That is how good we are. But is that good enough? You look at Wikipedia, you know how accurate assessment is there. We're good at something, we win awards for all sorts of things, birth rates, GDP per capita. And it is true. If you look at GDP per capita, it has been climbing up from $13 billion in 2004 to $20 billion in 2008. We are worth $51,000 each one of us. It's very high. It's very high. Yeah, it's not. And if you look at the government expenses, look at all the surpluses we have. I didn't calculate. I leave you to do your own calculation. But look at that. 2008, our revenues was $11 billion a year. We only spent $5.6 billion. We had a surplus of $6 billion. And 2007, we had $10 billion revenue, and we had a surplus of $6 billion. And our expenditure was $6 billion, so we had a surplus of $4 billion. So it looks fine. Even our exports. Ooh, look at that. We exported $14 billion of goods in 2008, and we only imported $3.6 billion. All those Japanese cars that you all drive, it's only worth $3.6 billion. That's worry about it. If the American was to look at this and say, we should do the third sanction or something, but whatever it is, it is something. It looks good. It looks good. This is our problem. We are dependent on oil and gas. If you look at our GDP, we divide it into the three sectors: oil and gas, government, and private. Oil and gas is the light blue. This is the government, and this is only GDP per sector by itself. You take out the oil and gas, where would our GDP be? And that's And you look at the export, all those trade surpluses I was talking about, it's all pure oil and gas. I think I don't have the figures here, but I think we exported some garments, some very, very small things, so tiny. So it's oil and gas. Our economy is driven by oil and gas. And if you look at the government expenditures, the government revenue is practically oil and gas. Government gas is revenue, by the way, just for your information, the government gas is revenue from three sources from oil and gas. We get it from income tax, we tax the companies for the profit. We get it from royalty, for all those pipelines, all those little heads they put up, or we charge them. We also get the profits by being shareholder in the company. So we actually hold a majority of the income which Shell makes. But that's it. The light blue is oil and gas. Take out the oil and gas. Would our surpluses look fine? It would not. But then when you look at the expenditure breakdown, a lot of the expenditures are what we call fixed. The light blue, again, this is for salary, and there is nothing we can do about it. We have to pay people, we have to recruit people, we have to pay people. This recurrent expenditure, this is what you pay for operation costs. Again, this is fixed. The only thing which practically we can control is here. And even here. But more than half of our expenditure is fixed. Take out the oil and gas. The dark blue is not enough to compensate this. But if we don't, this is special expenditures. Special expenditures are things which the departments and ministries are given money for that particular year to spend. This is RKN, this is the 5-year development expenditure. And this is charge expenditure. Charge expenditure are actually for payment for the government, like payment of judges, payment of SPAs, things which you have to pay to run the government. So practically, I would say about 70% of the government expenditure is fixed. Nothing you can do about it. And yet, our revenue is dependent on oil and gas. It doesn't take long for this to decrease. All you have to do is a drop in oil. So there's a drop in oil price, or there is a drop in the US exchange, in the US Bruneian exchange rates. This one will just decrease like anything. So we are not done. But on the other hand, this is what we've all been talking about. We've got our Vision 2035. And the Vision 2035 was developed by, there's a lot of consultations, findings, assessment of long-term objective, taking into account ministerial strategic objective, the regional and global trends, and the Vision 25 came about, which is here. For Brunei to be amongst the top 10 nations in the world, recognized for its accomplished, well-skilled and highly educated people, its quality of life, and its dynamic and sustainable economy. This is what we want to be in 2035. And basically, this is what we have to do. First-class education system for accomplished, which I can see the product of it here. So I will not go too much into this. This practically you can find this on the internet. It's just that this one looks nicer. That's all. But nice doesn't mean that. But the strategies. We've got all the strategies. It's all there. It's all written down. All you have to do is, if you have never seen the OSM 2035, is to go home and buy a copy of it from the Economic Planning and Development Department. I think it costs $8. So there's no excuse. And surprisingly, if you want to read the soft copy version, you can't find it on their website. You have to go to BEDB website. So bedb.com.bn would have all these things. So go there. You have all the strategies there, everything will be listed out. So if ever you need to run anything about that, you can actually find it on the website.